Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Art Maxing. This is a game show all about creators coming on weekly and earning points with secret objectives and main objectives just by doing the things that they love. Today is a really exciting episode because we have a great friend of mine and a very talented artist, Maddie Graphics. Welcome to the show, Maddie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to have you on. If you don't know Maddie, she is a very talented graphic designer, logo designer, educator on Instagram, YouTube, all the fun stuff. And you can find her at Maddie Graphics. Looks like we have a few people in the chat already. Robert saying, hi, Jacob and Maddie. Hi, Robert. Welcome to the stream. Keys, welcome to the stream. Clever, welcome, welcome, welcome. How's your morning, Maddie? How are you doing?
I'm good. It's sunny and bright here, and there's a lot of snow on the ground
Mm-hmm.
that I feel indifferent about.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those colder Canadian
Oh, yeah.
Canadian winters for us. It's lasting a
Yeah.
little longer than I would hope. We have Monica in chat. Okami saying hi, Jacob and Maddie. Hi, Monica. Welcome to the stream. If you are unfamiliar with Adobe Art Maxing, one of the most important things about this show is the fact that we have some secret prompts that are popping up on screen right now. These are going to be hidden for our guest, but you guys should be able to see the people watching. And once Maddie hits one of these, you will hear this sound, maybe. There we go. Yeah, hear that sound right there, and you will know that you got a point. But of course, before we get into drawing, we need to know what we're drawing, right? Are you ready for your prompt, Maddie?
I'm so ready.
Nice. Today, this one's really exciting. It's something that resonates with me. We are going to be working on or I should say, your objective is to do some branding for a tattoo shop. Everyone
Wow,
loves
Jacob.
tattoos.
I love it. I love it. I'm actually I got a fresh tattoo.
No way.
A couple weeks ago. I did.
No way. Nice. What'd you
Yes.
get?
I'm starting my sleeve. I got
Ooh.
I got a possum. You can kind of see it.
Cute. Oh my God. That's so cute.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well,
Yes.
I think that's as good as a transition as ever to go ahead and get us started on the clock. Maddie, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
All right, let's get us counting down in 3, 2, 1, go.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually found this little picture on Pinterest, I think.
Love.
And I'm obsessed with the colors and the vintage and the vibe, the whimsical trinkets and everything. That's totally my vibe. And then I have this.
Love it.
This is the name of the tattoo shop, Cicada Tattoos.
I feel like it's a good name. Kind of like
Right, which is actually funny because I'm petrified of cicadas. I grew up like in a forest basically,
mm-hmm.
and you could hear them and they were everywhere and it was like very nightmarish. But
I wait, where did you grow up? Because I also had that issue of like
yeah, I
cicadas.
always tell everybody I am Canadian, but I grew up about 15 minutes away from Detroit in Canada.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a border city. But yeah, we're full of trees and there's a lot of forest around here.
American.
Yeah,
American.
for as much as we go over there,
Absolutely. It looks like we have Sean in chat saying that Maddie's audio is a bit low. Try to adjust it. Oh, I'm seeing he said it's better now. Cool. Looks like we're back to square one. But yeah, I grew up in the South. I grew up in flying up your shirt, flying down.
It's horrifying.
Like, oh yeah.
And then you find their little like bodies after them.
Yeah, it's just like it looks like literal zombie carcasses that just got left on like the fence. It's insane.
Count me out.
Absolutely insane. It's funny that you're doing like some tattoo branding too, because what is something that me and Joanna, my wife, for those that don't know in the chat, have been trying to do is while we're traveling, getting tattooed. Um, I mentioned to you in the kind of like the pre-show that we are traveling to Chicago. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to get tattooed there,
There's
but
always time for tattoos, Jacob.
there didn't you get tattooed at the art summit at the Illustrator Summit?
Yes, I did.
Let's
Me
tell that
and
story really quick with some context because I think that's extremely interesting. And didn't you become I'll save it. I'll save it. So for
we'll
context
elaborate.
for everyone, Adobe loves us. No, Adobe was very kind and they flew out some illustrators in the design space, and they brought us over to New York to kind of give some feedback and meet each other, which was an incredible, um,
Incredible.
like situation, an incredible experience, and we had some very unique and different experiences across everyone, but one of those was I think you met a good friend of yours now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I met Alex
Mm-hmm.
with Curly Q Design Studio.
Incredible.
Um we actually met because of you, Jacob.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
I think it was after our first presentation that we had in New York, like after the first keynote.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I was sitting with Miss Slay,
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey Slay,
Oh yes,
and
Kelsey.
you had come up and sat next to us, and we chatted a little bit, and then after the keynote, I was by myself walking back to the hotel, and I saw you walking with Miss Alex.
Yes, yes.
And I was like, you know what? There's a friend. I'm gonna go and say hi because it's a friendly face and I'm by myself. And yeah, the rest was history. Her and I just like hit it off and were attached at the hip for the rest of the 4 days that we were there.
And got tattooed
And
together.
yeah, I think we got tattooed together, matching tattoos. We got matching apples for
So
New York.
sweet. The Big Apple.
Um, like 24 hours after meeting each other.
That's hilarious. I have some people
Yeah.
in chat actually mentioning you. Funny enough, Monica in chat saying, just realized I already follow Maddie and I love her art. Really excited to see where the
Go
sketch
horse.
goes. Very
Thanks,
cool.
Monica.
Got some fans in here. Ooh, we've got Ryan
I
in the
love it.
chat. Welcome, Ryan. Thanks for popping by. Ryan Selvey, famous host of File New, one of my favorite
I
Adobe
love it. Your
shows.
chat is popping, Jake.
We got some people coming in saying some stuff.
All
We have Bilal
right.
over on Behance saying, "Hey, creative people." Ryan
Huh?
asked, "Were they real tattoos or just
Yes,
temporary?"
they were real
They were
tattoos.
real. It was
They were
crazy.
real.
That was the last night too. You were like, we were all hanging out. I specifically remember because I went on a really long walk with Cody and um Noi the designer, and we were like walking around New York, just kind of like enjoying our time. And we came back to do the drinks on the top of the little rooftop. And
Yes.
I
Yeah, that's when we came back.
yeah, and I looked over and I saw you like either it was on your leg or someone had it on their leg, and I was like, "Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
we
Oh,
got them
those
on
are
our.
fresh, fresh,
Oh
fresh."
my God. Okay, I need to say something about this because my boyfriend had come with me to New York
Mm-hmm.
and we were gonna stay like an extra 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So it was about like 12:30 at night when
Mm-hmm.
Alex and I decided to get these tattoos, and then we found out they were only taking cash.
Oh,
So, and
no.
I'm Canadian, I can't like withdraw money from an ATM in the States.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I called my boyfriend and I was like, bring all the cash that we have. Like I have to pay for Alex's tattoo because her card wasn't working. And like
Mm-hmm.
he's like he's like, this is all the money that we came here with. I was like, no, listen, like
It's worth
it'll
it.
be worth it. It's fine. We can go to the bank tomorrow.
That's
So
so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, shout out to my angel of a boyfriend for giving me all the money
Yeah, shout
so
out
that I can get
boyfriend,
a silly
honestly.
tattoo.
He is bolder than me because I
No
would.
questions asked.
Yeah, truly. That's a ride or die. That's a
Yeah.
ride or die.
Yeah,
Monica says in the
absolutely.
chat, the ATM struggle while traveling is so real.
So
I
real.
agree because right now, for those in the chat that don't know, so I lived in Philly for a long time, 4 years, uh, pretty much all of my art career, right? And I met my now wife through the internet. She tried to move over and immigrate, or I should say, get a working visa, live with me in Philadelphia. It ended up not working out because it was really hard to get into the U.S. at the time. So we decided, hey, I'm just going to come here. I already freelance. I travel outside of the country for work, so I don't necessarily have to worry about, all the logistics. Um, what's funny is for the first like 6 months of me living here, did not have a physical card at all. I just had like Apple Pay, so I couldn't take money out, I couldn't take cash out, and it was so inconvenient.
That's so
It
bad.
was very bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it just made stuff so much harder. It made paying for bills so much harder. It made
Oh my
paying
gosh.
for tattoos so much harder. Because, like, no one in Canada has PayPal. Fun fact for people in the chat if you didn't know that.
We don't have a lot. What's the other one? We don't even
Venmo,
have we
Cash
can't even
App.
text Apple Pay though
No,
either.
it's so annoying. I'm just like,
Yeah.
please. Well, it's not annoying because you guys have e-transfer, which is fee free,
Yes.
which is really
Yes,
nice.
we do have
So,
that.
curious in the chat, anyone, have you gotten any tattoos lately? Have you had any money struggles with trying to pay your tattoo artist because the ATMs don't work? Because it's very relatable. I just got my hand tattooed a couple
So
weeks
niche.
ago, which,
Ouch.
I thought so
Ouch.
too,
But no.
but my artist was like, hey, use this numbing cream. You should use this numbing cream because I think it'll help you. Literally, I'm not joking, 0 out of 10 pain. I felt nothing
Wow.
the entire tattoo. Crazy.
Oops.
Absolutely insanity. But I'm used to having a low pain tolerance and always being a little crybaby when it comes to tattoos, so I'm not complaining, to be honest.
That's so funny.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you already crushed this
I know.
font like so fast.
I know. I need to be taking my time.
You could do some refining, it's
I
it's hard
know.
to though because you feel like you're on a bit of a time limit already, right? Like with the timer up, and you're like, I
Yeah.
just want to like be as efficient as possible, but like,
I
listen, you can
know.
add as many details as you want, take away as many details as you want. You're only 15 minutes in, so you're crushing it right now, or
Great.
10 minutes to be honest. So what inspired this like kind of gothic style font type? Was it like the subject matter? Like what do you think?
Yes and no. Like I love like very traditional like tattoo
Mm-hmm.
styles.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from like the actual like style of tattoos, I love American trad. I don't have any American traditional tattoos, but it's my favorite ever. And like the classic like tattoo logo with the super like gothic font.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but when I was creating this brand, I was struggling a little bit because to me, I'm like, ugh, like cicadas aren't like colorful.
Mm-mm.
And to me, like tattooing is it can be very black and white, and I'm like, I need
Right.
like color to this. So that's why like when I saw this, I felt like there was something I could do with color and still make it like gothic and but then a little bit whimsical and fun.
Yeah.
And I love creating, this is a fake brand. I love creating fake brands
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for myself just for practice too. I've been out of school I think like 2 years now, so just trying to keep up on like making logos and things like that.
Absolutely. Like honing a
So
craft,
important.
right? Like, because I feel
So
like
important.
drawing and designing is not like riding a bike. I think we mentioned this in the
No.
last episode of Art Maxing. Like it really is like you need to hone your skills and you need to keep up with honing your skills because they
Yeah.
are things that you can lose because these programs are constantly changing, constantly adding features, constantly adding new tools and things like that. It's
All the
a
time.
crazy time. We have Monica in chat saying it's so awful to convince people that you do have money, just not access to it, which I agree. It's very real. It's like, I
No,
promise I'm
guys, I
not broke.
swear. I
Yeah,
swear.
I'm not broke. And also, she said, Maddie knows the live stream race. She's here to get things done. I feel that.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Crushing it. Crushing it.
No one talks about how hard it is to talk and do this at the same
It's
time.
impossible because it's like you step away and you slow down to talk and you're like, "Ooh, I'm going too slow," and then you're like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do this while I'm talking," and then you're just cruising and it feels like it's too fast.
Seriously. Seriously.
So I think it's interesting. This is something I kind of bring up to all of our guests if it comes up in
Mhm.
kind of like a passing. I'm really curious to hear your art journey, because I don't think this is something we've ever talked about, like how you started.
No.
You kind of briefly mentioned that you went to school for art, at least from what I understand, or at least learned
Mm.
some art tips in school. So I'm curious to like know, when did you become an artist? When did you know that it was your passion? And like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really even funny that you say artist, because I've never even called myself that because I don't
Really?
even I've never saw it like that. For some strange reason, I wasn't always like I didn't always feel super artistic. Like I loved to I don't even I can't even say I loved to draw and things like that because I
Mm-hmm.
never really did. Like yeah, I took art class in high school and things like that. Um but I think my biggest thing was that I was so scared to do something for the rest of my life that was gonna be like boring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was like my biggest fear in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going to college for advertising and marketing management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was a 3-year program. And we had a couple design classes throughout the years, and they were always my favorite.
Yeah.
Whether it like a logo design class, it was very like simple basics. And then my design teacher, so the one that like focused on the design classes,
Mm-hmm.
I just really like clicked with him, and eventually he was like, "Dude, you need to go back to school, finish this program." Go back to school for graphic design.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, okay, I can do it. And then I went back to school for another 3 years, and the rest is history. But I didn't know like that graphic design was a career. Like
Yeah.
really and truly in high school, you think, oh, I'm not gonna go to school for art. Like, what's
Right.
that gonna
Right. Right.
do?
Right. I mean, we're the same age, I'm assuming, right?
I was born in 2000.
We are not the same age. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's 3 year difference. We would have been in high school at the same time, for sure.
Yes,
And I would
yes.
say, because it's been about 10 years since I graduated, or
Mhm.
not 10 years. No, 10 years. Almost 10 years since I've graduated.
Yeah, isn't that gross?
Ugh. And I would argue back during that time, there really wasn't like graphic design professionals or like
No.
content creators, or it wasn't like the space that it is now. But
Oh
also
yeah.
TikTok didn't exist. Like I feel like it was more of, you're an entertainer in the design
Hmm.
world, right? You make funny posters, you make funny tutorials, things like that. We have Delicate Type in chat saying, "Hi, welcome, Paulina, on last week's episode. Good to see you." And Ryan said 2000 is cool that your age is always the year. That's true. You never forget how old
Yes,
you are.
that's yes,
It's
very true.
very convenient. It's so interesting though, because you I feel like it goes artist to artist, of like, or I should say creator to creator, of, am I an
Hmm.
artist? Do I have artistic ability? Do I have, XYZ? Like I get into this disagreement. I wouldn't call it an argument because it's not heated, but I get into this disagreement with
Like a little bit of
Joanna.
imposter syndrome.
Yes, all the
Yeah.
time, of like, so Joanna does needlepoint. She's incredibly talented
Wow.
with cross stitching. I'm wondering if you can see it in the frame. I did this one over here, but she's done some ones on my wall. They're like higher
Love
up,
it.
way higher up.
I
But
love it.
she's incredibly talented, and she would consider herself not an artist, right?
Really.
Right, yeah, and it's
Uh,
total respect and understanding to that too, because I think that for different people, art has a different definition. For me,
mhm.
if you're doing creative things, I feel like you're an artist, right? Like it.
Yeah. I think where that comes in for me is that I don't ever think I really did art just for fun.
Mm,
Does that make
that
sense?
that
Like
absolutely makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
I say that I painted a lot. Like I like to paint and I mean I used to a lot before I really started working,
Mm-hmm.
but I never really saw that. Like you see some of our friends, they're carrying around a sketch pad or their iPad, and they're constantly drawing and sketching, and I'm like, "Oh." I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Why are you working right now? Like why? Put it away." But it's not.
Yeah.
It's like fun.
It's it. the idea of that is extremely stressful, and it's something that I've wanted to implement in my art career of being able to kind of sketch on the go, because I think it's a very healthy thing to do, to be able to like just draw from your head. I'm not that type of person. I have to look at the object, I have to look at reference, I have to
Mhm.
look at characters, I have to look at my old designs. Like I can't just like pull it out of my head, which is really frustrating. But like I'm envious of the people that can just like throw it onto paper, not even think
I
it, or
know.
not think about it. Obviously it's a honed skill, right? But like
Yeah,
practice this. They live and breathe it, right? So
bonkers.
there's just so many aspects of creating and designing and surviving as a freelancer too, like that just social media, like posting your process, learning the things, and relaying the information while on top of drawing and doing all this stuff. Paulina in the chat, Delicate Type, says going outside and sketching is so fun. I believe that,
Yeah,
honestly. I like
I gotta
sketching at
get
coffee
I gotta
shops.
get more into it.
You get a little book, or like even an iPad or something. Just like do a little digital sketch,
Mm.
have fun with it. Well, we're talking about sketching. We're talking about creating, and just our full process. And I think it's as good of a segue as ever to ask you your first question
I'm
on
so
the
ready.
board. Yeah, I was gonna ask if you're ready, but you're already ready.
I am.
So
I am. Jacob, I've been ready this whole time.
this question is a fill in the blank. So it's a
Okay.
fun
Oh
one.
God.
In the majority
Okay.
of your social media, you have
Mm-hmm.
a catchphrase, I would say, that really encapsulates what you do and how you create. It's on a couple different profiles. So
Okay.
fill in this blank for me. Or I should say these 5 blanks.
Okay.
I make blank 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 blank.
Okay. I'm gonna be really embarrassed if I don't get this wrong because I've had this on my profile for the last 7 years. I think that it's I make cool stuff on my computer.
You got it. That's a point on the board. You
4.
nailed it. Yeah, I like that saying. Cool stuff on my computer. Simple,
Sure do.
straight to the point.
Sure do.
It's what inspired that? Like, was it just like kind of I just need to put something in there and figure
That,
it
and
out?
I'm also like, that's just me.
Yeah,
Like I make cool stuff on my computer.
I love
Wanted
that.
it to be as simple as that. Like it's not that deep.
It's fun though. Like I don't know, it adds to that like fun, the whimsy of just like designing to design, not like for
Yeah,
money or for fame or whatever, like whatever comes with it. It's so funny.
exactly.
Like 2 years ago, I saw like a version of this phrase. So, and I'm trying to like implement it in a professional sense, but like on my Twitch and on my YouTube and on my like Blue Sky, it's world's okayest doodler. Like
Like
that's
I love that. I love that. It's the same vibe, right?
some same energy stuff for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting stuff. I kind of want to expand on our conversation a little bit, especially with your art journey, and kind of talk to you about, that transition into freelance, right? Like
Hmm.
from things being a hobby to actually moving into the creator space to like making money. Because I think that's something we haven't really talked about on this show, the process of making the cash dollars with um freelancing and how like difficult that is. Like, do you want to kind of talk
So
about that?
hard. I would love to. I once again did not know graphic designing was a career option for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had posted my very first Instagram post, oh gosh, 7 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I created the Maddie's graphics name,
Right.
which once again, just not much thought into it, just put it out there.
I love it. I love it.
And yeah, I think I had like 30 followers at the time, but then people kind of started to see what I was doing, and I actually started off making vector portraits for people.
Oh.
Because my first post ever was a vector portrait assignment that we had gotten in school in my advertising program though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this was a blast, and I started making more, and I started making ones of celebrities and things like that, and then I started saying, oh, for Valentine's Day, like you should get this for your significant other, and I was making like 25, $50 a portrait maybe, ones that would
Mm.
take me like 8 hours,
Yeah.
hours to do.
That's how it be.
Um, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I posted on TikTok one day on like a Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then when I woke up the next day, it was at like 100K views. And I was like,
Man.
yeah. And then I was like, oh, I have to do this now, though.
It's a
Like,
driving force.
oh, oh my God, you can't just have a post go viral and then quit.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I have to make this my life now. Like, I have to do it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I was just getting like small like client requests through like TikTok and things like that. And but yeah, very far and few in between. I've been doing it for like 6 years
Yeah.
now. Only 2 years full time because I'm done school. But
It's
yeah,
like
very, very.
that chase is like almost addicting, right? Like having that first
Oh
thing blow
yeah,
up and then just be so interested in trying to capture that genie in a bottle, you know, like
and
and
it's so hard to chase.
absolutely. Like, and I want to talk about that too. Like, I'm glad that this is transitioning into that.
Yeah.
That, like, I feel like, especially in the world that we're in now, I know it sounds like so doomer gloomer, but it's not meant to. Literally, like in the
It's
space that we're
true.
in, it's extremely oversaturated, and the way that things started, like it felt so much. I don't want to say easier per se, but
It
more,
was.
yeah, it was rewarding. It was much more rewarding, and it felt really good to make videos because you put a lot of effort into a video, you get a lot of effort back, right? Like I
Yeah.
remember one of my first screen printing tutorial videos I ever made. I was like, oh nice, it hit like 20,000 views or whatever, and then the next one hit 100,000, and the next one hit 400,000, the next one hit 800,000, and I'm like, whoa, is this what it's like? And it's like, no, it's not. This is not what it's like.
No, we just give you a little taste actually, and it's never going to be like that again.
Right. And it's like you're always chasing that and you're seeing like 2,000 views, 3,000 views. Okay, I hit 10K. Yes. Okay, 4,000 views, 5,000 views. Like some people still have that, right? Where they get the 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, but it's like you have to almost find your niche in that world
Yeah.
in order to get that back. And there's no like rhyme or reason to it either. Like obviously there's people that have teams and that are grinding and truly like are earning this, and I'm not saying that we aren't, but like as freelancers, like I think the difference between me having someone helping me with a project and me not is like the difference between me being able to pay rent or not, you know, like
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
it's something that we can't necessarily afford, and I think a lot of people do. I'm actually interested to hear in the chat too, like if anybody has any experience with creating or their drive with creating. Have you had any social media posts kind of go viral? Have you picked up some traction through like what apps kind of got you interested in creating, or if you do, or if not, is there anything that like pushes you away from that experience? I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
like such a
It is, and I will say that Instagram is my number one client
mhm
like base, and that's where all my clients come from is Instagram.
mhm mhm
Um, which is also tricky too, right? Because it's like it's not forever.
no,
You never
yeah,
know
and
what's
it's
gonna happen.
especially with like the state of the world and how content awareness and content usage is changing every day, and
Yeah,
things are just getting like more and more, it feels like, taken away from the agency of artists. I feel like that it's a
yeah,
really hard world to navigate. Honestly, like
it is.
takes time and patience, and also just like being able to put yourself out there while being able to ignore all of the noise in the background, right? Like
it's hard to, like you were saying about the views. You have like a few videos pop off, or you're feeling really good about them for
Mm-hmm.
like even a year or two,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In my situation, like it was just back to back to back, like viral videos, and
Yeah.
then now it's so discouraging because I'm like, what am I doing wrong now? But
Right.
you can't look at the numbers, and it's so much easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. It's a hard world out there.
I think it's also tough. Well, first, I want to say in chat we have a couple people popping back in. Peter over on Behance saying, "Good afternoon, everyone. What's going on or what goes on here?" We're creating some branding for a tattoo shop and talking about the world of freelance and creating as a freelancer. And we have Monica in chat saying, "I once had a reel get 170,000 views, but only gained 200 followers from that. So it wasn't a huge game changer for me, but I still upload often."
Good for you. That's so important
Mm-hmm.
and something that I try to tell myself too because you you get one reel that does good and then when the others don't, you want to quit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
consistency is key and it's so annoying because you hear it all the
But
time,
it's so real
but
in this
it's
world.
so real and it's so true
Mm-hmm.
and the algorithms um
Mm-hmm. Keys saying in the chat they're still
oh
looking for a niche, and I
yeah.
unfortunately resonate with that harder than I can say. Like it what I have learned with creating and from having videos that hit 1 million views, having videos that hit 600 views, having videos that hit 200 views, is that in this creative field, you have to create to create. You
Mhm.
have to. Like, you cannot create for the numbers, you cannot create for the money, and that's easier said than done when you have to pay your bills, right? Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
feels almost impossible, but for your mental health, for your sanity, you have to create because it's just going to make your life so much more stressful. It's going to make things more frustrating and just it's going to make um just gonna make your mental health just plummet, like if you focus on numbers and you focus
You
on
get burnt out too, man.
yeah,
Like you keep getting disappointed and it's yeah, it's not good for you.
absolutely, and especially when you're comparing yourself to other people too. Like I can't lie that there are many times where I look at Adam or I look at Cody or I look at these are people in the art space. I should probably specify Adam the illustrator. I can't remember what Cody Banks is literally just Cody
Yeah.
Banks. Like when I look at their work and I look at their views and I look at how often they create, I'm just like, man, I am so envious of you.
Yeah.
I'm envious of your creative drive, right? And it's these things aren't linear, right? Like they're not one to one. Like just because they are finding success in one thing doesn't negate my success, and just because my success is found in another thing doesn't negate their drive or their direction or what they're doing. Like it's not easier for them, right? They're still busting their butt to get
Same
to where they're at.
situation. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you
Like
talk
I
to
was
them,
saying, I was talking to Adam today and like we're all on the same page.
yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? You know what I'm saying? It's yeah, it's something you can't r run away from, which is nice and it's nice that we all have each other and that's new, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
have each other. We were very by ourselves in this
Yeah.
and you I mean, speaking for myself, I know nobody around where I live that does what I do.
Me neither.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Adobe like get-togethers were so motivating and important for me because it's like I would leave there and not feel like I was by myself.
Right, or feel guilty at the rate that you're creating or the rate that
Yeah.
you're going because you're like, wow, there's all these different peoples on all like you have this timeline there on all these different points in timelines and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I feel so much better. Like I look at like James, right? Like James White, he just posted in our group chat that he did a publishing. He published a book of his drawing as a child. That's something I never would
Yeah.
even fathom of thinking to do. But James is also 10 years older than me. You know,
Yeah.
he's had the opportunity to grow and
Mhm.
learn and experience, and like graphic design didn't fall off for him, or like, you know, he didn't lose that drive and that desire. And like
Yeah.
it makes me not feel like I'm looking at 19-year-olds with 3 million followers that are doing graphic design, and I'm like, okay, I'm washed up and I'm gonna, you know, burn out and not never make it, you know.
I know.
It's so
It's the
funny.
worst.
It's an interesting go. We have some actual comments in the chat too. Paulina Delicatype saying same in response to the feeling connected with people.
Yeah.
Monica in chat saying, I think creatives who enjoy the process without expectations can never be disappointed. But when you
Mm.
do create for a specific goal, it's not a bad thing, but you can get burnt out. Absolutely. I think setting goals for yourself is important, but maybe resetting your expectations, right?
Yes,
Expectations
that's huge. Yeah.
kill drive. Over on Behance, we have Peter saying, I get a lot of appreciations on Behance, but not one job. Very relatable.
Hmm.
Um, let's see what else we have here. Key saying, I'll have to try Instagram eventually. I'm hearing pleasant things, but few that financially make it work, which we talked about, of course. Um, LinkedIn, your work was seen, but crickets. This is all very, very. It seems like,
That's very relatable for me.
yeah,
The LinkedIn thing,
it
yeah.
seems like a lot of people are resonating and also relate to this experience, because I think it's a shared experience. This is not something
Oh
that is
yeah,
exclusive
for sure.
to any of us, which is so funny. I figured I'd let you know we're about 30 minutes in, still sitting on the 20-minute mark, so you're crushing it right now. Still
Amazing.
got plenty of time. But I do have a question for you.
Yes,
Is
hit me.
this ink font different than the font that you drew out? Would you say it's different?
It is different.
Well, that means you got a freaking point on the board. That's one of your secret objectives, to use 2+ fonts.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, hit one of the secret
Amazing.
objectives. We love to see it. So that's 2 points on the board for you already. But we've been kind of dancing around some of these conversations and these like topics that we've been talking about. And it's
Mhm.
funny because two of my questions are actually related to some of the things that we've already talked about. So I can run through them if you want, and we can kind
Let's
of,
go. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's
yeah.
go.
Usually we don't fire them off in secession, right? Um,
Hmm.
but I think that it's appropriate as ever. So, well, why not give it a try? This is actually involving views, of course. Ironically, we're talking about how it doesn't matter, but I think it's also important to celebrate the things that are successful, right? The
Yeah,
things
it's
that we
fun. It's fun. You
do
can't, you're in denial if you say it's not fun when you have a video go viral.
truly. And we're going to talk about one of your viral videos.
Oh
One of the
no.
things I love about your work and your design is the fact that you've got like a good knack for like creating things and making them catchy and making them feel very like relatable and humbling, you know? Like it's not from a place of like cockiness. It's from a place of like, hey, I learned this. You know, you should learn it too. And I
Mhm.
love that. And one of your videos actually is sharing some information. So this is, you know, I'm gonna on the fly change this up right now. This is an opportunity for 2 points. Okay.
Okay.
How many views does your most viewed reel on Instagram have right now? And this is a multiple choice question, so hopefully it'll
Oh,
make it a
okay,
little
okay.
easier.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is it A, 1 million, B, 10 million, or C, 14 million?
14.
You freaking nailed it. 14 million views on one
You know
video.
why? Because I have it pinned
Mhm,
so that every time I look at my reels that are getting 2,000 views, I
mhm.
can remember that one time.
I
That one time.
feel that. I do. Well, here's another thing to tack onto that for your extra bonus points.
Okay, I'm ready.
What was that reel about?
Um, I th I think it was my favorite websites as a graphic designer.
Boom, another point. Nailed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You remembered. Yeah, I actually found that so fascinating too, because I again was researching and looking into this on my own.
Fun fact, Jacob.
Yeah.
Think that is the first video I ever posted ever that had my face in it.
Really?
Yes.
So Instagram was rewarding sharing
I
your stuff. That's
know.
so
It's
interesting.
hard. I know, and I was struggling like being personable,
Mm-hmm.
showing my face because even my profile picture was my logo for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like it's literally like 60 up until last year or something.
It's a hard go. I feel like sharing yourself on the internet is a very vulnerable thing, right? It's something that can
Yeah.
absolutely um, be be discouraging, especially when
Hmm.
you're up for so much scrutiny, right? Like people
Yeah.
can judge whatever they want. But
Hmm.
once you do it and you know are able to just kind of let go and just say this is me, this is my creation, and especially
Yeah,
when
and people
people,
eat that up.
yeah, when people
People love
resonate with
that.
it.
Like posting on your stories is so huge too, I
It
feel.
is.
What stories can go viral too, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, stories they're so important to like help people feel connected to you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's easier to brand yourself than brand a
Well,
brand.
that's true. I mean, your personality sells, right? Like, no one is
Yeah,
wanting to. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but a lot of people are not looking for the design studio, right? They're
yeah,
looking for the people behind the
yeah,
design studio. They're looking for, like, what do you do in your day to day? How do you make your money? How do you make your coffee? Where do you go to get
yeah.
lunch, right?
It's actually crazy what people care about.
It's unfortunately, I say this unfortunate for the creator, not for the consumer. The
Yeah.
parasocial relationships, man, that's a real thing. It's kind of crazy too. Before I go on this tangent, I do
Mhm.
want to call out some people in the chat because the chat is exploding right now. With
I
Carol
love it.
saying someone wrote on LinkedIn that they've had to step away from art as a career due to all the people doing art for themselves now. Sadly, true. Interesting, interesting. And I'm seeing actually some. What I love about this community, I have to say, over on this on Behance specifically, we have some people in chat. I don't want to like call out any names, so if you're in Behance, you'll see kind of feeling a little discouraged about art, feeling like they are not good enough to get the views. And I'm seeing a lot of people offering to talk about their experiences with them and to DM them. And I really appreciate that. I feel
Oh,
like that's what this
wow.
community is about. A lot of people saying that they are open to sharing their experiences, talking about getting through it, um, talking about how if anyone understands, they understand. Like Carol in chat saying, not you're. It's not that you're not good at all, Peter. It's just every client has some odd tastes. Sometimes keep it at it. Keep at it. A
Mhm.
lot of
Sometimes you'll get hired and you'll make the ugliest effing logo that you've ever made,
listen.
and the
You
client
gotta.
loves it.
You got
And the
to.
client loves it.
You
It
absolutely
happens.
have to. We have Paulina Delicate Type over on YouTube saying having a post go viral is such a rush, but then it dies down and it's stressful. I have my most viewed reels pinned on my profile too. And Monica saying, now you two have me wondering if I should do that. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's agency in, again, rewarding yourself for the work that you do and rewarding yourself for going in as hard as you can. But to backtrack all of this, sorry, we're bouncing all around because people,
There's so much to talk
yeah,
about,
so
Jacob.
much to talk about, so many people in the chat. Thank you so much for spending your morning or afternoon or evening with us, by the way, everyone. This has been an absolute blast so far. But um one of the weirdest parasocial experiences I ever had, ever, okay, was when I was blowing up on TikTok. Like I hit like 160,000 followers in like a month. And in that
Yeah.
month I was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to move to New York. And then I learned that I can't afford New York, right? So I moved to Philly, which I love.
TikTok's not paying you
Yeah,
in
exactly,
Canada.
exactly. And I was like, "Oh, this is, I love Philly. Philly's incredible." And it was a crazy moment for me cuz this happened 4 times in a
Hmm.
span of about 3 months. So Joanna came over to Philly to visit me. We were at a art market, like a Christmas market, and some
Hmm.
dude comes walking by and he's like, "Buy Jacob Harris?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Dude, I have all of your merch." And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I've
Isn't
been here
that
for a
your
month.
biggest nightmare, but also the coolest thing
It was
ever?
very scary. I was like, oh, thank you. And then the even scarier one that I had, this is crazy, 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 crazy. Okay. I was in an Uber. This was actually right before I moved or like started the process of moving to Calgary. I was in an Uber and it was a shared Uber. And this Uber driver, it was my nightmare, was like wanted to talk, which is fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine. And the Uber driver was like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a freelancer and you know, I moved up to Philly not too long ago." She's like, "Ooh, you're an artist," and like kind of dug into it a little bit. And I'm like, "Yeah, I moved up here with a screen printing job, but I quit and now I freelance full time and you know, like I can't remember what I said. I said something like um and now I kind of like focus on art with like and then I get cut off mid conversation from the person that I'm sharing the Uber with, focus on like plants and like that type of artwork and stuff, right? And I'm like,
I would have popped out
yeah.
of the moving
It
vehicle.
was crazy. And they're like, yeah, like I had no idea it was you, but I thought it was you. Your name's Jacob, right? And I'm like, just freaking out. Like, this is great. Crazy. Like, I don't know what to do. At the time, I had like dreads and stuff too, so I was a little more recognizable, right? But I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, this is scary.
Oh
Like,
my
you're gonna
God.
know where I live, you know?
That I have gotten like I don't even know if I would say like recognized
Mm-hmm.
2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you right now, Jacob, I do not look like this ever, okay? I always have a hat on, and like I have my beanie on and my oversized
Mm-hmm.
everything, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
little like Walmart Billie Eilish
Oh
clothing
yeah.
on. And I was at the mall one time in line at Bath and Body Works, and this kid kind of looked at me and was like, "Oh, do you do like advertising?" I was like, "Yeah." And he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." And I said to his face, I said, "This is my biggest nightmare." And 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 he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. Like it's so nice to meet you. This, that." But I just I have word vomit and I was like, "This is the worst thing that could have ever
uh,
happened to me in my life."
it's so funny. Oh man, that's so real though. It is scary. It's like, what do I do? What do I say? Like,
Like, no, I don't exist outside of Instagram,
truly,
sir.
truly. Yeah, I'm
Don't.
actually just in the box this whole time. That's so funny. Uh,
Uh,
Monica in chat says that Uber driver was like, "Oh, I'm talking to a famous artist right now."
yeah.
Listen, I
Drive
don't know.
careful.
And Ryan said, "Move to New York anyways." You know, maybe.
Do it.
At least Maddie's was a child that came up to you. I guess it's fair. It's absolutely fair. It's not an adult
He
that
was
can.
in college, okay? He
Yeah,
was in college.
that's so
A
funny.
child to me.
Peter heading out. See you, Peter. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, I just it's so it what a
It's
funny
awful, actually.
shared experience too. Well, we've got one more question for you and about 10 minutes left on the clock. So I might as well
Jacob.
throw that to you if you're interested.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's
I
let's
said no.
let's
What
get
would
one
you do?
more point on the board, hopefully. So, here at the show, we
Mhm.
like to kind of do a little diving into Instagram, similar to like a little hot ones feature. Just kidding, but no, it's we like to go far back and kind of look
Oh,
into, you know, the startings of the work, the startings of the creative field for
love it.
our guest. So I'm actually curious. This might not be a hard question because you did mention it yourself, but some of your earliest work involved portraits, involved portraits
Mhm.
of celebrities. So I'm
Yes,
curious,
sir.
what was your first celebrity portrait posted to your Instagram page?
Is this multiple choice or do I have
This
to
is
come up with it
not
myself?
multiple choice. So this one's hard. This is the hardest one.
I have two guesses.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was either Mac Miller or Billie Eilish.
And I have to have you lock in with one of them.
I have done a lot of Billie Eilish posters in my life, and I feel like it would have been her.
You nailed it. It was really liked those celebrity posters, I have to say.
Oh, they're so fun. They're so fun.
It's such a stylized type of work that I feel like takes a lot of practice and skill. Like being able to
Yeah.
kind of, when I say simplify, I don't literally mean like, oh, it's simple, but like being
No, but
able
it's like
to,
therapeutic.
right.
You know, to do it in like like a paint by number, that's literally what it feels like.
Like breaking down the
It's down to
core of
the best.
someone's likeness and being able
It's the
to,
best. And
yeah.
I have not done one in so
Hey,
long.
maybe it's time to hop back, do a little
There
practice.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I also have to say, I love where this is going. It's incredible. It looks amazing, and you
So
crushed it.
fun. So fun.
I would go here. I'd get a tattoo. I trust them. You know.
I'm gonna say, yeah, that also it's owned by women.
Oh, okay. Love that.
I'm gonna say that.
Woman to own
It's
shop,
giving
not
it is. It's
toxic.
giving like
There goes all the
yeah.
there goes all the male tattoo artists that were in chat. They're leaving now.
No, I love you guys. I've been tattooed by literally everybody, but
hmm
my main tattoo artist is a beautiful, talented lady,
I love that.
and I love her. Yeah.
Ooh, I like what we're doing here. We're adding some
I don't
gauche
know.
blur.
Because
Nice.
you can't see what's
Getting
going on
getting the
behind there.
focus on the font. Well, we're rounding out to just about 4 or 5 minutes. So I kind of want to leave it off not only with recapping what we've worked on today, but also what's your favorite tattoo that you have?
Oh, I have a lot of really funky, weird
Me
tattoos.
too.
I have, I'll show you my arm really quick.
Yeah.
You're not even gonna be
Show
able
and
to see.
tell.
I just got this when I was
Oh,
in
cute.
Salem,
Betty Boop.
Massachusetts.
Love.
This is probably my favorite tattoo. It's a rat in a martini glass.
That's really sweet.
It's a really cute little guy.
That's so cute.
Um, this is like my fun arm. This is my sleeve arm. This is like my fun arm.
Mm-hmm.
I have my planchette for a Ouija
Love,
board.
love. Talking to
My
spirits.
dude says dude because I say dude a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then my crayon is for it's a Conjuring
Oh,
uh,
nice.
homage to the first Conjuring movie. But yeah, this is my favorite arm. That's what I'll say. This
I
is probably
love.
my favorite tattoo.
Yeah, it's a good one. Also great space too, like filling out that.
Dude, right?
That's so sick.
I know. I got a thing for rodents apparently. I
Oh,
got my
cute. I do love a good. I love a good possum. Love a good raccoon. Love a good rat. Truly,
right.
it's
I'm
my
like, I gotta chill. I'm gonna like get a
favorite.
raccoon on me.
Absolutely. I mean, raccoons are cute. I had a friend in high school that had a pet raccoon. He like rescued it and so cute. It's crazy,
I see
crazy.
them all the time on TikTok too. You'd actually be surprised about how many people have
They're like super
raccoon.
legal to have. They're like cats. They use litter
Yeah.
boxes apparently, which is crazy. So, Monica in chat saying it's wild that Maddie can create a cool all caps brand in an hour, and I've seen so many businesses could benefit from hiring someone for branding. Well, I think your DMs are open. I would hope. You
Oh
know,
my gosh, please DM me.
hit Maddie
I'm
up.
bored over here.
Hit Maddie up for some design work, please. Do you want to run us through kind of what you did today and kind of how we got to this
Yeah,
point?
I would love to. I kind of started off, I showed you guys my inspiration here, which ended up being a mock-up if you just saw that, of a little, I don't know, poster, social media post design.
Love.
And I pen tooled this really fun font from a sketch that I had. Um, so this is like the main situation.
Love it.
Um, and then yeah, so you can kind of take the bug out, and
hmm
this is the typographic logo. And then you bring the bug back in. It's like a full primary logo.
Love the
Um,
colors.
which is so fun. So I'd say this is like the final logo.
Love it.
And we didn't have time for this today, but maybe I'll do a video on it and we'll go through
Yeah.
some
Maybe
stuff.
a reason to go back to the Instagram, check it out, maybe
Yes.
see what
Yes.
happens. Listen, you
Please.
absolutely crushed it today, Maddie. I
Thank
have to
you.
say, this was an
Thank
absolute
you.
blast. I have some final questions to actually get you more points on the
This is my
board.
favorite. Come on.
Yeah. So, my first question, most important question is, of course, did you have a good time?
I had the best
Let's
time. It was so good
go.
catching up with you. I
Yeah,
miss you. I miss
absolutely.
all you guys. We need to get the gang back
I
together.
know. I miss you too. Adobe, please bring us out. Let's all hang out. There's a point on the board. And did we create a mock up? Of course we did. You crushed that one as well. And last, and most certainly not least, did we finish the design?
I did.
Boom. That is another point. So now we're going to go ahead and throw up a final score. Do you have any guesses?
Um, oh, carry the one. No, Jacob. I'm
All
gonna say
right.
7.
You're so close because you scored 8 points today.
Oh,
You freaking nailed it,
nailed
Maddie.
it.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show. And thank you, everyone, for spending your morning, afternoon, evening, night with us. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you for chatting
blast.
with us.
Yes, thank you
I love
for,
that.
and thank you for being so open to helping other people. I think that's what this community is about, is having a open conversation and being very transparent about all of the experiences as a graphic designer and how we're not as different as it really seems. Maddie, do you want to let people know where we can find you?
Absolutely. I'm Maddie's Graphics literally everywhere. So
Nice.
just Google me.
Amazing, amazing. Well, this was such a fun one. Thank you so much for being a part. And
Thanks, Jacob.
honestly, I had an absolute blast. And I think I'm going to go get a tattoo today. I think that's the moral of the
Oh,
story.
I'm so jealous. Do it.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Great seeing you guys. We have Alex in chat saying great design and great conversations. Awesome. Thanks for another great live show from Paulina, and Monica saying bye to all of us. We will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Bye.